everybody, I'm Tiffany from Cards with Tiffany, and we're back with our second video in our series, the Workshop Your Way Father's Day card making kit that features the Jack paper. And here our second card we're going to make. This is one that I've designed, and it's another Father's Day card. We got some of the twine again, we got our dots, our embossing, and I don't know if you can really tell, but I've actually got these popped up. I got some of my foam tape in there. So we're going to be making this card. So if you're looking for any of the additional material that we use and the size of the cutting guide, that is on my website, cardswithtiffany.weebly.com. If you go under the tab that says WYW, you will find the printable and downloadable PDF there. So let's get started with our stamping. So I got my piece of white daisy here. Oops, didn't mean to hit. So I got my piece of white daisy, and we're going to start by bringing in our piece of scrap paper because we're doing our embossing. So we're going to bring that in, and we're going to need our black for the Father's Day, and we're also going to need our Versamark. So get those out. I got my embossing powder and get that ready off to the side as well. So I'm bringing in my anti-static, I think it's called anti-static bag, and that just helps take so that the powder doesn't stick to places that we don't want it to stick. Got that done. I'm going to grab my Father's Day stamp, and I'm going to lay it on my sheet, take my block to pick it up, and we're going to ink it up first in the Versamark. You could also use the pigment inks, then you don't need to use the Versamark or your normal ink pad. You could just use the Versamark the pigment where that stays wet longer. So once I got that done, I'm going to stamp that closer to the bottom. Got that in there, peel it off, and I'm just going to take my powder and sprinkle it over it, just like that. Shake it off. Maybe you need to give a little flick on the back, make sure that it is all off, and we're actually going to set that aside. You're also going to need a scrap of your white daisy, and I'm taking my bag again and just sliding it over that, because we're also going to need to do the happy part, and we're actually going to cut that out. So let me grab another block here, and we're actually done with the black. Now we're going to do that in ruby. Make that pop a little. So get my ruby ink out here. So first in our Versamark, and how this works is the Versamark is going to sit on top. So right now it's closest to the stamp, and then the red's going to be on the bottom. So when we stamp it, the red or the ruby will be closest to the paper, and the Versamark will be on top, which stays sticky, which holds our powder. So I'm going to stick that right in the middle there, just down nice and well, and I think that's perfect. And once again, I'm going to sprinkle that down, and that's perfect. So now we're just going to do a little bit of cleaning up here before we actually emboss. So just get rid of our stamp pads here, put our powder back, and then they're doing the scrap paper here, so it just easily goes back into the container so we don't lose out any. This stuff will last a long time. So there we are. So now I'm going to bring in my heat tool, and I'm going to start with my happy here. And with the heat tool, you want to make sure it warms up slightly before you start, and you want to hold it at an angle away from your fingers. And you can watch it turn here. So I'm going to do the first side and then flip it over so I'm not heating up my fingers. First side done. You see that turning? And that's how you know when it's finished, when that color has turned. I didn't get it there above the peak. I like to hit it from the back just to help with so it doesn't distort. And I grabbed my other Father's Day and same with here. You want to go fairly close to it, not super close. Some people like to wave it around. I don't. I guess that's all opinion. There we are. So don't touch it right away. It'll still be a little warm and it's going to be wet. It takes a few seconds to dry. And I think they turned out wonderful. And this is definitely a time where you can check to make sure that everything did get embossed, that all that powder did melt. So we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut out the happy banner. You can leave a little bit of white around if you like. If you'd rather cut close, that's up to you. It's a very simple cut. There's no fancy lines, a little bit curved, but that's about it. So I'm going to do this one straight. I'm not going to really leave much of a white banner or border around the banner. Just takes a minute or so just to give this a cut out. And if you go on ahead of time and get the guide, you can have all your materials ready and you can be making this along with me. Or the great with the videos, you can pause it and stop it, come back when you'd like, make it down the road, whatever you'd like. And I just got to go around this one end down here. And then it's done. I'm just going to trim off a little bit of the white here. And there we are. Just make sure we get rid of the garbage. Might kind of keep your area a little tidied as you go. Okay, so with our white daisy square, we're going to take our journaling pen and we're going to do our doodling lines. So just sliding my pen across the bottom, I just rotate it and slide it across. You know, I'm not looking to see, you know, how perfect the lines are. I just want it to go from one end to the other. If it comes out, it goes in, doesn't matter. Very uneven there. It's just supposed to frame it. So there we are. So we do have a little bit more stamping. So we're just going to set those aside. I'm going to bring in a strip of our lagoon. And I'm also going to grab a block here. I should have brought my bigger block and I didn't, so I'm going to have to use this one. And we're going to use the stripe. So I'm going to set that down. And the best thing with this, loose, like just fling it and you just want to set it down so then it takes its natural shape instead of you trying to get it on there perfectly. And just pick it up like that. And we're going to do that in the black as well. I don't know if you've seen it on the card. It's kind of just to help offset the blue so there's not so much blue going in the card, the lagoon. So I'm just going to ink that up in the black. And now I'm going to try to do this straight as I can. I'm going to go off the paper on the end just a little. Just like so. Turn it around. You only need to ink up the one side. And now this is the hard part. Now I might have to do this off the screen just so that I can get it to line up as best as I can. And if it's not perfect, but you know what? We're not going to see it, so we don't have to worry. So there. So now all of our stamping is done. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take this white daisy, a square of lagoon, and we're going to put our glue on the back of that. I'm going to use my rolly tape. I find it's the best, especially when we're embossing. And we're going to stick that in the center, a nice border all around. Okay, now we're going to bring in our card. I got a card base here. If you can see, there's one side that sticks up in the middle and the side that sticks down. That way, want the down side to go on the inside. Now you would take a bone folder, but I seem to have misplaced my bone folder, so I'm going to have to, when I find it, to give that a better crease. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a card this way, and I have some of our paper here. We're going to do the white and red, and then the plaid, and then the white and red like that. And for this, I'm going to actually use my liquid glue just because I'm going to be able to have time to move the pieces around if I need to. So I'm just going to a little bit, it will come out. There we go. Around. I do all 4 sides. You don't have to. I just find I don't want nothing to pop up. So I'm just going to lay this here. I'm going to make sure there's a little bit of a white border and stick that down. Now I'm not going to do this one next, but I'm going to kind of keep it there so I know. But I'm going to do the other one on the end, and that way I can center the plaid one in the middle. So once again, this one's here. I'm kind of seeing, and you can see how I'm still able to move it, or I'm not pushing it down if it's lined up top and bottom with the other one. And then we can put our plaid in the middle. Just like so. Okay, next we're going to take our blue strip, our lagoon, and I'm just going to use my rolly again. We're going to get that all glued up. Now, this is what I've done. See where I had to stamp and I didn't quite match it up? I'm going to put it on this side. And I'm doing it about 1 inch up from the bottom is where I'm sticking it across. And I'm also actually using the plaid to kind of line it up in the middle there. Now I'm just going to flip it over, and it does stick off a tiny, tiny bit, and just give that a cut. So now what we're going to do, oh, there that is, I thought I got it, is we're going to take our whisper twine, and we're going to go and slip it under the card. So I have the card in here, I have it in here, and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to tie it, and I like to flip mine around, I'm not sure why, and I'm going to tie it kind of between the plaid and the one on the right. Even though this is my left, this, when I turn it back around, will be on my right. So I'm going to tie it more so to that side. Once again, get my finger in there to keep it tight. And I'm just going to make a knot, just like that. So see, it was on the right side. And once again, I'm going to cut these short. And we're going to kind of frail or unravel them like we did on the card in the video before. I just like the look of that. Just like that. Now, I kind of want this to stay in place, and where we're not gluing it down and it's on the inside, all I'm going to do is take a little bit of liquid glue and put ever so much just above the line that we did. Not all the way across, just like that. And just stick that down into that line like that. Oops, stick into the card. And all that's going to do is that's going to keep that from moving around. Okay, next what we're going to do is take our foam. I'm just going to reach across here. It's on, left it over here. And we're going to put some foam on the back of this. Now, you can get this foam from Close to My Heart in 2 different thickness. I'm using the thinner. And the only reason why, I find it's just easier for sending cards. But you could use the thicker. And sending cards in the mail, I should clarify. So I'm just going to put a piece at the top and the bottom. And we're going to nest that over the twine. And the twine will kind of act in the middle as a third piece as to hold it up. So I'm just going to center it closer. I'm going to kind of put it in the middle between our plaid and our white and red piece. And just stick that down like so. Just like that. And all we got left to do is add on this and our dots, and we're done. So once again, I'm just going to take a little strip of this. And I'm just going to put it in the middle. Fits in there perfectly in the middle. Peel that off. And we're going to stick that right on like so. And there we go. Fix this up. So now we're going to grab our white dots this time. from our black and white dots. We're going to take a large one and kind of put it half on the lagoon and half on the white red. And then I'm going to take 2 medium ones and I'm going to put one there and just one up a little more off to the side. And there is our second Father's Day card. I had fun making this with you guys today. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get a chance to make it. And we'll see you on our next video. Make sure you subscribe so you can see our 3rd video in our series. All right? Happy card making.